Welcome back to Off the Monster. My name is Derek. I'm here with Jeremy, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Brown. Not a happy mood. If you have been living under a rock, like Patrick and SpongeBob, although he probably got information of this. Xander Bogaerts is signed with the San Diego Padres, 11 years, 280 million, 25 million, no, 27 something. I don't know exactly what the AAV, but yeah, big contract essentially. Red Sox were never going to go there, but we have multiple problems with it. I think everyone does. And let's just go off Red Sox Twitter. You guys are crazy. Also, John Heyman, you're an asshole. But Red Sox Twitter, Red Sox Twitter lost their mind the last couple of days. I think that's fair to say.
It was insane. I think Derek, I think you were up. I think we went back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
The night that it happened,
I was up till
Mr.
8
Brown,
in the morning.
I was up till 4:30, almost 5. But I think Mr. Brown and Mr. Jeremy are civilized human beings and were asleep at an appropriate hour. Why us heathens were up diatribing about the travesty that is that Xander Bogaerts was allowed to get to free agency, was no longer going to be a Red Sox. It was people were literally slitting their editorial wrists as this was happening. And I was there for the chaos. I was comfortably watching a movie, and it roughly 23-30 hours, give or take 20 minutes. Out comes this tweet: Xander Bogaerts, 11 years, $280 million to the Padres. And all day long, I was checking my Twitter feed because we got fed erroneous information. Red Sox are in deep discussions. He's coming back to the Red Sox. I mean, every outlet that I follow, which are all the major ones, were indicating that he was coming back. And my point of contention,
all right, it's easy to say in hindsight, but did anybody of us believe that garbage that was coming out of the
absolutely
tweets?
not.
No, none of us believed it.
And the point I'm trying, and I'm going to bring this to a crescendo very quickly. The point I was trying to make in my responses to these individuals was, number one, I feel your pain. I think Xander Bogaerts is a phenomenal player. However, I do not want to see overspending on an item. It's called value for money. It's an old business principle that has been around since forever. You want the best value for the money that you're spending. We all have a very specific cellular carrier. We've all used a very specific mortgage company. We're driving very specific vehicles. We drink specific types of beer. We all have likes and wants, and we try to spend it in a manner that is consistent, that makes us happy. Now, this is going to sound really arrogant. I have run a multi-million dollar business with as many as 500 people that depended on me to make qualified business decisions based upon value for money. You do not go into business to lose money. And people can get on their fucking high horse all day long and say, oh, the ownership is not spending money. Ownership doesn't want this. Ownership doesn't want that. You are fucking beyond stupid if you think the Fox Sports Group does not want to win, does not want to put asses in the seats, and doesn't want to sell merchandise. They are in the business to make business. But running a business or owning a business, because I own one currently, you want to make sure that your profit and loss statement at the end of every quarter is at a certain level so you can do what's called forecasting. And when you forecast correctly, that means you have the budget each year, whether it's a fiscal or annual budget, you have the money necessary to operate at a baseline. If you go below that baseline, you are in the red. If you go above that baseline, you are in the black, but it allows you to invest into the business, spend money to make money. It's basic business 101. And the average fan, and this is not meant to be disrespectful, the average fan is not acclimated with that paradigm. And because of that, they are way too emotional.
They say it's not my money, so why do I care why they should just spend it? They should just spend it. It's not my money.
Correct. That's 100% correct.
Also, I do want to correct you. You said Fox Sports Group, Fenway Sports Group. I'm going to correct you on that.
I'm sorry, Fenway Sports Group. FSG is who I should have said. But
yeah. Even the casual fan knows that FSG, Fenway Sports Group, is not losing money.
No,
They have
no,
no.
they're not. No, they're
and,
not.
and,
No,
and,
no. I'll
don't
tell
I'm
you how
not
much they
going
don't want to
I'm
lose
not
money.
going in the way of Bogaerts on this. Is that the fact that it was basically a flat line what went through the winter meetings compared to some other big market teams. You have the team, like I said, with the highest ticket prices, and yet they just sat there with a glazed look on their face. Well, we tried. We were interested. We tried. We put forth effort. We tried. You're in the one of the biggest, I'd say, three. The Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Red Sox, I think, are your big three as far as MLB markets in all of baseball. And trying doesn't go over well with fans. I get it, it's emotional, but at the end of the day, there are some bright fans. Four of us are right here, right now. We know the business of baseball. I don't know their books, but I can guarantee their books aren't that bad. I mean, they just put that stupid Mass Mutual sticker on the uniforms. I think that was the most breaking news I saw the last week. Go ahead.
So, but I guess, go ahead, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
All right, so I'll jump in on this part. Everything you said, Mr. Taylor, of business makes total sense. It does. But here's the difference. This is not just a family or a CEO or, whatever you want to call it, that just runs the Red Sox. They have their hands in everything right now. And to sit here and say that they can't spend some money to invest in the team now for long-term gain is crazy. Now, I'm not saying Xander should have been signed for 11 years. No, that's the Padres throwing out monopoly money. I don't know where they're getting the money from. Maybe it's
they're burning a hole in their pocket.
Right.
You guys hear about the Judge offer though? I'll go to that in a minute, but yeah.
But here's what I'm saying, right? Raffy is sitting there right now. You can extend him. You can totally extend him right now and afford it. You could have extended Bogey a year ago, 2 years ago,
and cheaper.
You could have afforded it. Right. The whole point of trading Mookie was to clear out room so we could do this, and they're not doing it. And they the interview that Cotillo did with Heim, came out on Twitter, and I saw that, and it infuriated me because basically I got the sense that Heim doesn't really care who walks. He's going to build this his way with his guys and how he wants to do it. And that's totally overlooking what you have now to build upon. And so from a business standpoint, if you have talented people that are in your organization, pay them and get out of their way so they can do it. And then your organization is going to be much better. They're not doing it. They're said, no, we're going to do it with our way, our guys, and that. So now if these young guys come up, and let's face it, Duran, he came up. That was a big struggle, right? Jeter Downs didn't look all that impressive. And these guys were highly touted.
Yeah.
Now,
not the same as some other guys, but yeah.
No, not the same.
I know what you're saying.
Right, but it can happen, right? Now what happens if all come up and it doesn't happen? They don't hit. You let Mookie go, you let Xander go, you let Raffy go, all because you were banking on these guys and you put all your eggs in that basket. When we are an organization that is making money hand over fist. So to sit here and do that, to me as a fan, is unacceptable. It should have never gotten to this point with the talent that we had. And that's what infuriates me. And it should infuriate all other Red Sox fans because we had the talent. You let it walk. And then you're sitting here saying, well, we're trying to, make sure we make smart moves with money and this and that. You could have done that years ago.
Oh, 100%. I think though part of the blame though, we're not just going to totally blame Chaim Bloom because let's be honest, he's only a piece of the puzzle. But I do want to talk about the owners for half a second. But before that, I want to talk. The Padres were seriously burning a hole in their pocket. They offered Trey Turner $342 million. He says no. They offered Judge 10 years, $400 million. However, but they wanted to offer him a 14-year deal, and they couldn't because it wouldn't have been allowed.
Yes.
They were burning a hole in their pocket. They could have chose anyone to spend it on. They could have spent it on Carlos Correa. However, they went and chose Xander Bogaerts for whatever reason, probably because they know he ain't going to be able to play shortstop in a couple of years, so we'll move him off short and move Tatis back into shortstop.
I said this in a tweet last night or this morning about 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I was going back and forth with one of the people I typically do, and I have a theory And the theory is, I think the San Diego Padres are funded by one of the cartels out of Mexico, because that kind of money is just absurd. I mean, the the shock that, I mean, I would have loved to have seen the look on my face when I saw 11 and 280 on the tweet notification that I got. I looked at that and I was like, you're fucking stupid. The second number that popped in my head was 41. I was like, Xander's going to be 41 years old on the back end of that contract, and it's just insane. It we can go all day long, and fans can go back and forth about if. If is the biggest word in the world to be only 2 letters, and if we did this, if we did that, I'm going to argue with Sox fans, other Sox fans. Mookie Betts was not going to sign with the Red Sox, and I'm basing that upon body language. His body language, every single time he was asked about his upcoming potential free agency, he never once indicated that he wanted to stay with the Boston Red Sox. What does that say?
Well, it says
Patsy?
Pasta. He wants to sign Pasta now because for the Bruins. The
Yeah.
Bruins haven't extended Pasta yet. No,
Gotcha.
I think it's fair though. I don't want to talk about ownership. I don't want to talk about ownership because I understand the whole Heim thing or whatever, but also too, the not paying your homegrown players goes all the way back to Theo Epstein. This isn't just like a Heim thing. It goes all the way back to when ownership took over. They'll pay anyone from the outside. They hate paying people on the inside for whatever reason it is.
Still paying
Go
Petey.
back. Yeah, after he took a sweetheart deal, but
I mean, outside of Judge, what big time player is still playing for their original team?
But then I also too, I was gonna get to that in a second. But like you pay Manny, but you don't want to pay Nomar. We eventually got to 2013. Ellsbury gone. I understand he didn't work out for the Yankees, but the point is like you let a homegrown guy who was good for the Red Sox leave. John Lester. See ya. Weren't serious. John Lester has a similar situation because they offered him a terrible contract in spring training. He said, hell no, I'm not taking that. Trade him. They traded him at the deadline, which they probably should have done with Xander if they weren't going to be serious in negotiations in the spring. Right. Then they were like, oh, we're going to double our offer in the fall. And then the Cubs said, yeah, we're burning a hole in our pocket. We want a pitcher like John Lester. Here's all your money. And the Red Sox weren't going to match it. The same thing happened with Xander. Red Sox, illegitimate offer in the spring, except they don't trade him at the deadline, which, why?
But is homegrown really that important? It is not.
Well,
because they have free agency. That's the whole point of free agency. This is a job for them.
It is important. No, but it is important. And guys like Xander, for example, Xander is the only link the Red Sox had to that Ortiz era. And I'm going to use the Bruins as an example. The Bruins, for almost 15, 16, 17 years, have built a culture. They have built a culture. That culture has stayed throughout different team leaders. Now 2 different captains, will eventually be 3 when Bergeron retires. That leadership and that kind of that culture they have, regardless of which players come in and go out, has always been there. The Red Sox just lost their last link to that true culture that they had with Ortiz and Pedroia. They lost the last link because Bogaerts was the last link. Rafi Devers is your longest tenured position player. Second, Alex Verdugo. That they don't have any links anymore. It's a totally like new group, and I understand the whole bet situation. You can't blame. I don't think you can blame that on Heim just because he came in and was essentially tasked with trading bets away. Essentially, not totally, but essentially. And then also too, but like the Xander thing, they should have gotten on it earlier. Dombrowski shouldn't have given an opt out too, but whatever. You can't go back and change that. But they should have gotten on the Xander thing earlier. They should have Devers. They should have already had Devers locked up. I know Heim did say in with Cotillo's interview, that he said like, oh, like we're gonna start looking and getting guys locked up earlier, like Garrett Whitlock, which you should be doing. Like, hey, Bayo, Cassis, maybe even Houck, potentially Meyer whenever he comes up. Like, yeah, you should start looking to do that because look at the Atlanta Braves, Acuna, Albies, so many guys. Strider, just did Strider. Austin Riley. The Braves have done that amazingly, and that's why they don't spend over the moon for guys. because they locked them up early. And
You know what this is?
you know,
I'm going to interrupt you, and because I just realized what this is. This is the ugly guy that had the hot girlfriend, and she left him, and he's trying to do everything he can to get her back. We're the ugly guy. The Red Sox did not win a World Series for 86 years. And then all of a sudden, by some miracle of God or whatever entity,
the miracle
or
of Big
that you pray,
Papi.
the miracle, but we hook up with the hot chick.
But that year,
And
we had a lot of homegrown prospects.
Right, we did.
Other than Manny. Okay, outside of Manny and Pedro.
Yeah. And RT,
Which was the nucleus of the team.
The great mix though, the best mix to have is a mix of veterans who have been there and done it before, and a good group of prospects who are coming up who can fill in the gaps. And
right, and right now
we
do not have a veteran nucleus.
No, exactly.
Nope.
But what
No,
you want to do, what you want to do is to build a sustainable winner. You want your young guys to come up, fill in the gaps that the veterans need filled, and then as the veterans come out the door, those young guys take over as the core, and then a new group of young guys come in. That's how
I look at High Blue and
that's the
I
perfect
see
situation.
the New England Patriots. I mean, almost to a point where they get the most they can out of their guys, and then they let them walk. Mind you, no, bear with me here. Bear with me.
No, I know what you're saying. That's why I said, oh my God.
I mean, do I think Mookie is going to have greater years ahead of him like Patriots guys that left? Patriots do it well. I don't know how they have a crystal ball, but most of their guys, they end up falling off a cliff once they want all this big money.
Jamie Collins.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Multiple times, exactly. But you know where I'm going with this, and I said it before we started, is that we got Xander's best years, I think, in my mind. He's going to have great years ahead, but I think we got his best years. I mean, he is 30 years old, and the end-all be-all is Devers. If they don't lock up Devers before this year, the entire year is going to be, where's Devers going? Because they're not going to sign him.
Padres. Did you not see what I posted on Twitter?
They have like
two prospects.
$2 billion
They saved Jackson. No, they saved Jackson Merrill, and they have their first round pick from last year.
Yep,
that's who they're going to
trade. And they could do it. And I don't care what anybody says. Oh, Machado's not going to play, different positions.
No, Devers would DH.
Oh, right, exactly. They'll make him a DH, and they'll throw a shit ton of money at him too, and just say, "Here, just do this." Because
I will say Machado does have an opt out after next year too.
Right, and so apparently Padres can just go out and dig up money in a yard or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, Prelo's going for it this year because the Dodgers aren't going over the luxury tax this year. They're getting under it because no team has ever gone over in this new era of luxury tax, whatever, has ever gone over the luxury tax 3 straight seasons where the tax has a massive hike. No team has gone over. The Padres are about to go over for the 3rd straight year. The Dodgers have gone over 2 years in a row. They're not going over. The Padres are like, oh, this is our chance. We're going for it. The Dodgers are gonna go under, and in doing that, are gonna save money to try and get Shohei next year. If you're the Red Sox, the whole point of trading Mookie, which honestly, did you have to trade Mookie with Price? I would have rather traded, I don't know, a Benintendi with Price and got literally nothing back. But I get it though.
Base,
but
he sends Blyce, maybe
Meyer, Blaze, all their first round picks that are going to be shortstops. I'm just joking.
Yeah, pretty much.
This would be the year. This would be the year though for them to go pitching.
Trade Ohtani now and sign him to a 10-year, $500 million contract.
No. Get Sang. No, here's what I was joking. I've said this to a couple people. I said they're gonna get. This is before Yoshida signed. After Haniger went to the Giants, I said get Yoshida, get Senga, get Ohtani next year. Bring in Sawamura as the bullpen catcher. Maybe bring in Ichiro as the base running coach.
All right.
Trade for him with Seattle. Trade for Ichiro.
I do want to throw this out there with Heim Blue and the way this offseason has gone. It's another offseason where if something doesn't happen, and there's still some time, so there is, but the way it's going, if this offseason plays out like it is so far, that's 2 off seasons in a row where I feel like he is either getting schooled when it comes to negotiations and just he sucks at it, or he just doesn't care, and he wants to power on with what he has and what he's got in the minors and make it work and all that, which I've got to be honest, this season is a make or break season for him then.
They're
If
having
that's
a set
doing-
price on guys in negotiations and they won't go
Right.
over it. Which
Right.
it's not bad, but sometimes you got to go over it to
Right.
get your guy.
But
I think
here's
we said about 3 episodes ago, if he doesn't do well in the winter, he's done. And he's not off to a
I don't
great
know if he's
start.
done though, because I've said this, like, if John Henry didn't want to go on FSG, if they wanted to just spend money out the wazoo, don't you think they would have just kept Dombrowski?
it's spending money.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, though, essentially is, if they didn't want to go this route, you don't bring in Heim Bloom. If you don't want to go this route, you don't bring in Heim Bloom. You bring in Heim Bloom because you're trying to save pennies on the dollar. And overall, the Red Sox can still have a good team, but what I truly feel is starting to happen is, and talking about FSG wanting to make a profit so bad, and I feel like this, Liverpool wanted to sign Enzo Fernandez and Jude Bellingham. It's supposed to cost over $250 million. What do they want to do? Sell a minority stake in the team so they don't have to use any money out of the pocket. They want to make profit. They just want to make profit. And I don't blame them at all for it. But at some point, we might hit the point where it's like, cool, the Red Sox are not the centerpiece anymore. They're just part of your portfolio. If you're not as interested as you were 20 years ago, respectfully, start looking to sell the team. Respectfully.
Right. And that's where I'm getting at. It's not about doing the Dombrowski way where it's like, here's just a pile of, and there you go. It's the fact that we've had talent on our team you could have locked up, number one. Also, too, there's some moves out there that could have been made to where we didn't finish last in the AL East. And that's what I'm getting at, too. This last year, no bullpen help, no nothing. We finished dead last in the AL East. And I don't care that it was the best division of baseball. We still finished last. If they go into this year as they are right now and it plays out, I don't see any way you're getting out of that cellar. Maybe, just maybe you finish ahead of the Orioles. But if you have a worse record than you did last year and you finish ahead of the Orioles, you're still worse. I don't care.
Oh yeah, no. The balance schedule should help them. I will add that the balance schedule should help them get more wins because you're playing the AL East less often, and you get to play more teams more like, I don't know, the Tigers, the Royals, the Pirates, whatever. Like, you should win more games next year, but if you don't win more games next year, you have to say the team is worse because you get an easier schedule at the same time.
Right. And that's what's really getting to me is we're the Boston Red Sox. We can't last place 2 years in a row. Like that's just unacceptable. And I don't care what ownership wants or anything like that. We've won World Series. We've done it with this ownership group. Why are you getting away from that now?
Yeah, that's what Sphere is going crazy, enjoying piling on Red Sox Nation this last week. They're loving every minute of it. The Heim Bloom fire production sale, whatever he's doing over there. Yeah, we to a point that we are spoiled. Yeah. We've had quite a few championships in the last 20 years.
4.
Yeah. 4 championships in the last less than 20 years. And it's just a Boston thing. We expect our teams to be we expect the best because we pay for the once again we
pay for the best. We pay for the best. We want to be the best. Also, too, I do want to say expectations in Boston sports. I know I wasn't alive then, but like post 2000, I mean not post, pre 2000, when no one had won anything in forever. The expectations weren't. We expect the Red Sox, the Patriots, the Bruins, and Celtics to win every single year. Now the expectations are, well, the Patriots are 10-7. They suck. The Celtics aren't 25-2. They suck. The Bruins aren't 30.
They're pretty good.
You know what I'm saying. The whole point is, if you're not the best now in Boston, you're gonna get forgotten. There's a reason Boston media doesn't cover the Red Sox. Isn't gonna be covering the Red Sox if they suck.
Because the Bruins lost to Phoenix last night. They suck again.
You're right, exactly. Well,
we won't even go there about that game.
Before 2000, Boston sports fan expectations was basically this: if we can get to the playoffs, we have a chance, and that is what we got to get to the playoffs because we want a chance. We want to be,
and then you can break our hearts to the playoffs,
right? And we've now over the last 20 years, all of our teams have won, and now we're sitting here going, "Why can't we do this more often? We need to do this more often." And you look at teams, Yankees have done it, Lakers have done it, all those teams, you're like, those teams can do it, and now we're one of them. So we should be one of them. We should strive to be one of them and keep doing it every year. And again, kind of getting back to the Red Sox, right, over the last couple of years. And I don't care what anybody says, okay? In 2021, oh yeah, the team overachieved. Why didn't you help keep that going? Instead, you looked the other way and you let guys walk, and you didn't get any bullpen help. And that
was the big one.
Not what those organizations did. Now, granted, the Lakers are just totally dysfunctional, but that's because who's taken over. Yeah. But even the Yankees, okay, yeah, they haven't won since 2009. But you know what? They keep getting to the playoffs.
They're good every single year. The only years they aren't good was like, hey, we're rebuilding. We're going to trade Chapman to the Cubs. And then the next year they're good again because they brought Chapman back and got Gleyber Torres from the Cubs.
Right. And they didn't finish last that year either.
Not that too.
Right. And it only took them 1 year to retool, and there we go. And how did they do it? They did it with money. We have that money. And I'm
money
not saying,
it's money and prospects. It's the mix. It's the mix. You have to have a mix, and you have to have the right mix. You can't, like the Red Sox, like in 2 years, the Red Sox can't be Meyer, Blaze, Rafaela, this guy, that guy, prospect. Like you still need your Devers. Still need even a guy like a Verdugo. Who is he great? No, but he's solid. Even like a guy like Yoshida, who I think is going to be solid. I think he's going to be very good. Like at least at the plate, he'll be very good. Like you need your veterans around. Christian Vasquez is the perfect guy to have around.
Right.
You might have to. You know what? I didn't think I'd say this, but you might need to sign JD to a 1-year contract.
You might
keep that clubhouse
maybe
somewhat cemented together.
And the thing too is, how many reports have we had this offseason of, oh, so and so is going to sign, but they want to be closer to family and they want to do that. The New York Yankees have a no facial hair policy and no long hair policy.
And so I got this nice card I got over.
Like just
JD. I got that a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh, you can't. But here's what I'll say though about the Red Sox. I feel like what they do in free agency right now is, hey, we're interested. Would you consider us? How would you feel about coming here? And anyone that says, and if they don't say no, they'll be like, we'll throw this out on the table as a feeler offer. Then they kind of start getting a little bit more serious for some guys. And what they end up doing is a guy like Mitch Haniger, everyone's like, oh, the Red Sox are in on him. And I want to say this just to show that it's not always what everyone says. Everyone's like, oh, the Red Sox have missed out on Haniger. They missed out on their top outfield target. I don't think Haniger's a top outfield target. You know why? Yoshida gets posted Wednesday morning. 45 minutes later, Red Sox sign him. 45 minutes later! The guy didn't even have time to talk to teams. The Red Sox just said, here, we want you.
Yeah. That sounds like Trevor's story all over again, doesn't it, guys?
No, because they were on story from like November, before November.
Yeah,
they were on
the only
story
team.
they were on him the whole off season. But what I'm saying is, like, for Yoshida, obviously, I think Boris is actually his agent. I think someone said Boris was an agent. I don't know if he is, but
I didn't see that.
I don't know. I saw someone say Boris is agent. I don't know if he is. I don't believe
Who's
it.
agent?
Well, getting back to what you were saying, those stats. When it comes to the Red Sox and negotiations, as soon as you're going, hey, would you be interested? And they're like, kind of. That's when Boris guys jump all over that. And that's why that crap gets out there of, oh, they're in heated talks and they're in this. They're helping to drive up the price to where they price themselves out if that's how they're negotiating. What I think San Diego's does is they come in and go, hey, what's your number? And they're like, oh, it's this. Oh, you know what? We can do this. Like, that's how the Yankees are doing it. Like, kind of in sales, right? It's a little bit of a sales background. You almost want to kind of tell the customer they're buying something without telling them that. And that's what I think that, like you just said, if the Red Sox are in fact doing it, then Chaim Bloom's negotiating skills are about as good as mine with quantum physics. I mean, no, like, you don't do that. Just go, hey, what's your number? Okay, then let's start dealing with that. Not, would you be interested in playing with us? What will it take? Or this, we have money. What is it going to take?
I look at it this way. Just one thing. Only 3 teams got better during this last week. San Diego, obviously, Philadelphia, and Texas. The Yankees re-signed Judge. Okay, they had him last year.
Well, if I'm being honest, if the Yankees didn't have Aaron Boone, I think we'd be having a different conversation about who won the World Series and that. Aaron Boone does not help them at all.
No.
And as much as I absolutely hate the Yankees, I love that Aaron Boone's the manager because they're not going to go anywhere. But dude, if they brought in Bochy, holy crap, they'd have 3 freaking rings in a row and a crap with the talent that they have.
No, they wouldn't because Judge can't hit in the postseason.
What say you, Mr. Taylor?
Let me pose this to you. Kind of bring it back to what I started off the podcast with in my rant about business and the concept of value for money. Hear me out for just a minute, and I apologize if I get a little long-winded about it, but I really feel passionate about this. Is that if you listen to Chaim Bloom from the day he started to today, if you had the same conversation with him, he essentially said is we want long-term sustainability. Now, how do you get long-term sustainability? By making qualified decisions based upon a preponderance of the information. Value for money, number one. I said from the beginning of this whole Xander Bogaerts sweepstakes that the max that I was willing to give him, if I was the general manager, I'm the GM, the max I would give him was 6 years. And the reason I would give him 6 years is because that puts him on target for mayor to come up in 24, 25, if that's what you're banking on. We don't know that for sure, definitively. But
late 24,
value,
but yeah, I'll give it to you.
Value for money. And if you sign someone to one of these absurd 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year contracts, you do not get value for money on the back end of those contracts. And the reason I say that is in 6 years, 7 years, you've got someone on your books that's getting $25 to $30 million. Does that affect the way that you handle your team at that time? You've got someone that's 6 or 7 years older. Are they going to have the production needed to help you to win at that time as well? And the answer is no. It's like buying a car. You buy a kick-ass car and you put it on a 10-year note that you don't have to. Is that kick-ass car still just as kick-ass as it was day one that it is on year 10? And it's not. This guy Bloom, I think, is incredibly business savvy. And every fucking year, the Rays would kick, or over the last 5 years, the Rays were kicking our ass, or 4 years, kicking our ass, and they were spending $60 million, $70 million, $80 million. The Red Sox, 200, 220, well over $200 million.
Yeah, we won the World Series and they didn't.
Yeah, correct. That's different.
But to my point, value for money. What did Dave Dombrowski do? And I don't know the minor league system anywhere near the way Stats does. But my understanding, I tried to equate it to a military analogy that I could understand. And what it seemed like to me was that Dave Dombrowski came in and he was the Roman fucking Empire. We're coming in, we're kicking your ass, we're taking your name. But once I conquer you, I can't sustain what that ground I've gained because I've depleted the ranks, i.e., I depleted the
Mongolians.
The
Mongolians. It's literally the Mongolians.
100%,
but here, I'll say this. But Dombrowski pretty much traded every prospect essentially besides Devers. But I think I want to go back to even before Ben Cherington. What is he remembered as? The moves he didn't make. He's remembered for the moves he didn't make. Dombrowski is remembered for the moves he made that didn't turn out well because that was the end and everyone's recency bias. But that's what I'm saying is you need to have a mix of the two to be sustained contenders, which is what Chaim wants. You can't. So you.
What I was going to allude to, what I was going to allude to is, you're talking about the Mongols. We're talking about the Roman Empire. What the reason the Roman Empire and the Mongols lost their footprint is they no longer had the troops to sustain the ground that they took. What I think Chaim Bloom is doing, and it's not popular, is that he is replenishing the ranks to hold the line. It's called holding the line. And once you can hold the line, you can have sustainability to protect your established borders. That's when you go back out onto the attack to gain more ground, i.e. more championships. He's replenishing the ranks, waiting till the troops come out of basic training to hold the line so the veterans can go out there and lead that next campaign. That's how I perceive it. I may be completely and totally wrong.
You just gotta hope he's still in charge by the time it's ready to go.
Yeah, because sustainability only works for Fortune 500 companies.
Well,
Red Sox might be considered a Fortune 500 company with the amount of money they bring in, but they're not.
Right.
They're not Amazon. They're not Google. And you cannot run a sports team like it's Amazon or Google. And that's his mindset. He's
But well, look at the Dodgers though. The
you
Dodgers
can't
are
get past the personalities. Personalities, you can't treat them like just assets.
no. But look at the Dodgers though. Look at what the Dodgers have done over the last 10 years. They have been the definition of sustainability. Even the Houston Astros over the last 6, 7 years, however long it's been, sustainability. It's possible to do
Spending
in the
a
MLB.
shit ton of money.
Well, the Dodgers are, but the Astros aren't great. But the Red Sox should have the money to spend like the Dodgers have in the last couple of years. They have the money to do it. It's not like we can't do it. Obviously, the Red Sox are at the beginning phases and they're trying to build up towards it. But it's like when you get to that point, like the Red Sox can spend money. It's not like they don't have money. The Astros actually aren't spending ridiculous money. Actually, the Astros aren't going crazy money, but they've been sustainability. And you look at now, they're kind of guys they brought up in their rotation. Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, Luis Garcia, even Jose Urquidy, Lance McCullers. Those are all guys who have come through their system.
Right. But when the Astros have had to spend the money, they do it.
Exactly.
And look at what they did with Alvarez and that. You can say that to them, right? Is when they've had to spend the money, they've done it. And it feels like Chaim Bloom, there's a couple of people, and I think we all know who we're talking about, where, you know what, you really should have spent the money to do that, to lock them up, because then you will achieve your goal of sustainability. And he's not doing that. And also, too, baseball is not like another business. Baseball teams over the last 20 years, every single one of them, their value keeps increasing no matter how bad the team is. So you can run like the Rays and get to the playoffs and stuff. Here's the difference. The Rays still haven't won a World Series. Okay. The Royals, right? They had their little peak where they had all that homegrown talent and that. And for a couple of years, great. They were up there. Cool. We are not those teams, though. We have the pockets to basically be like an Amazon, like a Walmart in terms of business world. We can just do these things. And honestly, if we were to sign a guy, let's say Xander, okay, let's say we extended him a year ago, we gave him 6 years and 160.
Even say 8 years. Even say 8 years. Even say
right,
8 years.
Right, we signed him for 8 years. We get 2 more years out of him that are okay, and we're still paying him. We are the Boston Red Sox. That is not going to kill us. It is not going to deplete our payroll or anything, because you look at what ownership has. Right, Walmart, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple. The thing with those corporations are they have their hands in everything. They do. It's not just
Disney. Look at Disney.
Right. They exactly. I'm getting my hands going and everything, but it's true. They have their hands into everything and they're making money on everything. And so are the Red Sox. And that's what's disappointing. It's not being ran like those top organizations should be, in my opinion. It's okay. We're going to make all these cuts and we're finishing last in the AL East. We're really not going to do much in this offseason, but we're going to be better. How are they better now? When they signed Kike,
they have a freaking leadoff hitter. Yay!
Right. Yeah. How are they better now than they were when they signed Kike?
Bullpen and a leadoff hitter. That's literally it. That's literally that's literally it. Now the bullpen was the big problem last year because they might have the lead, but they can't get it to the 7th or 8th inning even with the lead. So maybe that'll help, but it's like at the same time, it's like, and obviously the team could be unexpectedly good. 2021, 2013, hello, but you can't bank on the team overperforming every single year. It might happen one every so years, but you can't bank on it. And the team could also underperform as well. The Red Sox next year, could I see the Red Sox when they make a couple more signings winning, 90 games next year? Very optimistically, I could. But could I also see them winning 65 games next year?
Yeah, no,
very
Jeremy
pessimistic.
Said it.
Yeah.
Jeremy just said it. The bottom line is this, and it's a line from the show Peaky Blinders. The aunt that ran the books asked Thomas Shelby, who was the leader of the crew, why they were doing something. And he says, because we fucking can. And that's essentially what Jeremy said is, we are the Boston fucking Red Sox, and we can, and we should.
Right.
We want to come in and slaughter and maim and destroy because we are the Boston Red Sox.
It's what the Padres are doing. It's what the Padres are doing. They're saying we have money And the Padres owner, what some people from the Padres are saying, like the Padres owner is like almost like Steve Cohen. He's a Mets fan. For the Mets, Steve Cohen, he's a Mets fan. The Mets are his baby. For the Padres own a Padres fan. Padres are his baby. He will take whatever it takes to win. He'll do whatever it takes. Spend all the money he needs to win. He's going out saying, I have money. I can do whatever the hell I want. Come here, Manny Machado. Get your ass over here. Tatis, we got to pay you. Here's your money. Juan Soto, we want to trade for you. Get out of here, prospects. We're bringing in Juan Soto. Xander Bogaerts, get your ass in here. That's what the Padres are doing. They're saying, we can do it. We don't care. We want to win. Is it the best for sustainability? Not necessarily. But if they want to just keep on spending money for the next 10 years and have a $500 million payroll, they technically could. Would it necessarily be smart? Maybe not, but they could.
Yeah, you're right. With sustainability, it's not sustainable at all. I do like that he is looking at it from a sustainability aspect. Right now, I would lean that there's more of a sustainable organization moving into the future because they do have some pretty elite prospects with the Red Sox. But if I was in Vegas, I'm looking at futures in the stock market. I'm looking at the Texas Rangers. I like the Texas Rangers. I like the Texas Rangers and the fact that they got DeGrom. Yes, he's going to be older in later parts of his contract, but they got two great kids coming up.
Three.
Let me go with this, Leiter and Rocker.
Leiter, Rocker, and then also Wynn as well.
Yeah. Right. So you have three possible aces that are going to be coming up in a very weak division. Oakland is not sustainable. They tried the way of StatCast. It didn't work out being cheap. Doesn't work.
They just don't spend money at all. They just don't spend money.
Right. You cannot win on a $50 million salary cap for your team.
You can win a division, but you're not going to win a World Series.
Yeah, you can win that division. Maybe that division. You can't win a lot of divisions. You maybe can win that division.
The Rays have won the AL.
Seattle is coming up a little bit, but Seattle, they find a way to screw it up. Whether it's a prospect. I hope Kyle Lewis goes down to Arizona and totally destroys the NL West this year.
He need to change the scenery.
Do I see it happening? No, probably not.
It's a different situation.
But I like the scenery change for him. I think that they gave up on him too quickly. I like the kid. He just won Rookie of the Year, 2 years ago?
Yeah, in 2020, but he's just been invisible the last few years. He's been injured.
Sustainability. You look at a team, it's easy for a small market.
Their pitching is the sustainability, though, for Seattle. It's their pitching.
Right. In baseball, you need deep pitching. Do the Red Sox have that?
They're trying to build it. They're trying to build it, but they're not there yet. They got to keep on building on it.
Yeah. Bayo is an incredible prospect. I think he's going to, hopefully, they don't screw him up like they screwed up Bogaerts, and they're going to screw up Devers.
They should already be talking to Bayo and Casas on extensions, just laying the groundwork. They already should be. They legitimately maybe not get a deal done now, but set yourself up to get a deal done next offseason for both of them.
Yep.
No reason to not do it.
I agree, and that's the whole point, right? Is we keep talking about sustainability, but let's take a look at all of sports, really. Okay, the Patriots. That's probably the most sustainable franchise, right? But they've had one common factor in that.
Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, right? So set them aside. You look at the rest of sports, right? How long is sustainability for a team? A good 5-year run?
It's like the Bruins, and they had a couple bad years in there too.
Right, they did. And you look at even the Cubs, right? The Cubs from 2015 to about 2018, that was a very good run, and they did get a title out of it, right? The Yankees, they've had some off years. Yep, they've gotten to the playoffs, but even last year, you're like, okay, they're going to get to the playoffs, but it's going to happen, right? Their run though in the late 90s and that was probably about a good 10 years, right? That's what sustainability is, and so. I think when we hear, or not we, but I think fans out there think sustainability, the ones that are sitting here going, well, we should just be getting a championship every single year. That's great. But here's what I saw in 2021. Yes, the team overachieved. They did. But we won a title in 18. We got close in 2021. We have talent to win. can we keep this window open for a little bit? And it's like they just shut the
They're
window.
looking to open
No.
the next window before that window is kind of closed. Although,
Right.
you know, maybe there was some writing on the wall. I know they wanted to trade. I think one of the things, the reason they might have traded Renfro was the whole packing his bags for the wild card game. Although, like the game before and whatever, which I don't know, maybe just bad locker room. I don't know. Who knows?
An all or nothing mindset is a small market mindset.
It is.
You know, the
You
Kansas
should be
City
able to.
Royals,
You should be
they
able to
won.
open your next
They
window.
put all their eggs in their basket, and they won. 10 years ago?
2015 was it? Yeah, 15.
2015?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
But they also can't
But the
do
Red
it like an
Sox
team. They don't spend
cannot
money.
be a one and done team. They're a team that should always be in that playoff push every single year. They should have a $200 million budget being filled every single year. The fans expect it because you're going to tell me most fans can't afford it. And Mr. Taylor, you can appreciate this. You know what the Red Sox look to me like now? They look like the Boston Celtics of the 80s. You know, we're in the fans for the Boston Celtics? Elitists. They weren't the average fan who could afford to go to a game. It was these cocaine business guys taking out their buddies to games in the front row, making money hand over fist, you know, because of the Ronald Reagan era. I can go into politics if you want, but no, I don't think people would appreciate that. And not for that aspect, just because Ronald Reagan brought in money. But they are the Celtics right now, where they have this elite amount of money coming into the organization. And, you know, not the average customer could pay to get into the stands to watch a game. If they can get lucky, maybe go to one game.
Yeah, you can go sit at the top row of the bleachers in right field or center field.
Woohoo! That's where every parent wants to take their kids.
I just
they
tweeted
want
this
them to
out.
go back to school and say, "Mom and Dad are cheapskates."
Yeah. I tweeted out just the other day, or actually it may have been yesterday. This whole my point of contention is free agency is ruining professional sports because of the pricing that's going. I mean, these contracts are absurd.
Especially in baseball.
We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars. I took my family to Boston. Travel aside, you know, going to 2,000 miles from Texas to Boston. So airfare and hotel accommodations aside, I took my family to 5 games at Fenway Park. It cost me almost $6,000 for those 5 games. Almost $6,000. That's ticket, concessions. We didn't even really get any type of merchandise. It was just when you're spending $150 per ticket, because we didn't sit in the bleachers. But when you're sitting at $150 a ticket, you multiply it by, you know, we're a big family. There were 7 of us that went. Then you've got probably $40 in concessions per person. You know, but by the time you get them a drink or nachos or a hot dog or whatever, it's absolutely absurd. And this all gets ridiculous. Back to
it's not even the Red Sox.
The free agency is pricing people out to where they can't afford to go. So why not watch it at home? And that hurts putting fans in the stands. It hurts your merchandise. Whether you're talking sustainability or whatever, there's got to be a point where common sense has to come back into this and say, this is fucking absurd. Technically, the Red Sox, yeah, I mean,
he lowered the Mets ticket prices in 2021 and made more money.
Right.
Fan bases did revolt last year, if you remember. There are a lot of stadiums. Mind you, Tampa is always empty.
Dude, Tampa raised their ticket prices massively. Massively raising them.
Their stadium doesn't matter who's there.
It's the location's awful.
Out.
Yeah, because the location's the worst thing ever. No one lives near there.
It's a horrible stadium. But
and no one lives near there.
I would say maybe less. All right, stats. Before this is over, I want to know what team sold out every game last year.
Probably none.
Yeah.
You can't, and you maybe can go, oh, Dodgers sold out. Yeah, they don't show up till the 5th inning anyways.
Well, if they sold out, they sold out. I don't care if they didn't show up or not.
No, I care. I care. No, I care.
Well,
I care.
The organization doesn't care. They got the money in their pockets. But the Red Sox, I know, went about 3 or 5 years during that 2004, 2007 frame where they sold out every stinking game. And they were not the highest price ticket
The
in
Bruins
town.
have sold out like what 500 straight games or something.
Well, that's
Yeah.
easy. You got 13,000, 14,000.
But the
seat
point,
stadium.
but the point is though,
And it's a hockey town, by the way.
but the point is though is like you you can sell out like 17,000 at TD Garden or 37,000 at Fenway's and be harder, obviously. But the point is like, yeah, ticket prices are going up. Why? Teams are spending more money. But also too, you could also make the argument of, yeah, also teams are also making money on like, I don't know, Mass Mutual, jersey patch, $17 million a year.
TV deals.
Yeah, TV deals going up. Everything's going up in price. It's not just like tickets. Everything is
Mass
going up in
Mutual is
price.
paying for our closer for the next 2 years.
Yeah, they're paying for Kenley Jansen. I do want to get to the Yoshida Jansen signs a little bit, bring a little bit more positive side to it in a couple minutes. But no, this is the thing. It's like you either as a team, you have like as a franchise, the Red Sox are gonna go, well, we're selling our tickets for this much, but we're still making money. However, someone smart should go, hey, lower the prices a little bit. You might make more money. Like, I don't know, the Mets did with Steve Cohen.
So, hey guys, let me if I may, I apologize. I gotta hop off.
Same here.
I gotta hop off here in just a second because we're getting ready for dinner. But I'll leave you with this: the Red Sox have my heart. I love them, even though they may not love me back. And for everybody that's watching, going to watch this or listen to this, root for the team, no matter what. Even if they don't love you back, love the Red Sox. But anyway, guys, it was great to see you all. We'll get together again very soon. By the way, my mother's doing very, very good. We got her home about 5 o'clock tonight. So Grandma Carol is still going to kick around for a few more years.
Good.
But great to see you guys. We'll talk very, very soon. I know we'll talk via text message later tonight for sure.
This time next week, I'll be reporting from Boston.
Oh, also before you leave, Mr. Taylor, we got one thing for you. Let's bring back the Ice Horse. He's a free agent.
Hey man, I'm here for the chaos.
Me too.
All right, guys, y'all take care.
All right. So I'll jump in on my final thoughts here because I have to hop off as well. And where was I going with it?
Actually, before we get to the final thoughts, real quick.
Yeah.
I don't want to cover this real quick. Yoshida Jansen. Start with Yoshida. I know I feel amazing about it, but how do you guys feel?
Yep, the Yoshida signing, like you said, that was where I was like, okay, hey, we got something done. Now, is it in the wheelhouse of where I hope we're going? Not really, because I thought we could make some other moves, but I like it. I think it's solid. I think it does help with some other Japanese talent that's out there, because every year it seems like there's one or two Japanese guys that open up and stuff. And what's his face from the Cubs last year?
Seiya Suzuki.
Yeah, Seiya Suzuki, right? He did not have a bad season. He got hurt, and overall it wasn't a bad season. And I still think there's something there with that. So I think we're trying in the right direction there.
Yeah, and they've had a really good relationship in the Japanese culture since signed Daisuke, whether you liked him or not.
They brought in
Red Sox have had a very
guys.
good, very big footprint in the Japanese baseball leagues.
Right. And it's nice
in the
to
Korean.
have, right now we got he outfielder, right?
Yeah, you need a big baller out there.
He's a left fielder / DH. So
yeah, okay. So
yeah,
it's nice to have that. And the Jansen signing, I really do like. I think it's a solid deal for us. It's again, we were talking about money and stuff. It's not a ton of money. He is older. What I think it helps is he can kind of be that mentor for Tanner Houck or one of the other guys. He can kind of mentor them while he's there, and he's still got something left in the tank. I don't
41
think
saves last year.
Right. He's not washed. He had a good season with the Braves. We needed a closer desperately. So, I think that was a good move. Now, again, are we better? Maybe bullpen wise, sure, but offensively, no, we're not there yet, because even with again the Japanese guy's name is leaving.
Yoshida with a DA at the end.
Yoshida, even signing him, right? That's not going to turn around the offense, right? It's going to be his first year in the majors. He might have some ups and downs with it because he's got to get used to it. So we haven't solved the offensive problem. But overall,
they're missing the middle of the order.
Right. And those two moves, I think right now, yeah, they're good. but it's one of those where I'm sitting here going, it's not good enough. It's
You
not
need
like
more. You need more. You need a
right.
and it's like it feels like there's a massive gaping hole at shortstop. It's like Carlos Correa is the only guy who fill that hole, and he brings the fuck you to it, which I was
I'm
saying
not
before. But
going there.
I know you guys don't like Correa.
Not
I'm
even
just
going
saying. But like, unless you bring in Correa, you're gonna still have a hole at shortstop. I don't care
Right.
about Dansby Swanson.
But-
Like, I don't care
If we're gonna
Right,
spend
that's the whole
Correa
thing.
money, why didn't we just do it with Bogaerts?
because
That-
Correa
that's
is a
my
better
thing.
player, though. Correa is a
Right,
far better
so-
player. That'd
So
be the
before
argument.
Right,
I
so
do
you're gonna
jump off-
spend a lot more money on Correa, I
No,
would think.
well, no. If you're gonna, well,
So-
the thing is, Correa. If you get Correa, Burris is 11,280. If you get Correa for 11,3, or let's say 12,320, you're taking that and you're running with it because it looks like a steal compared to the Bogart steal.
So here's where I'll leave this, okay, for my final thoughts. Whatever happens at shortstop, if you sign Dansby Swanson or you sign Carlos Correa, whatever the deal might be, is going to upset Red Sox fans even more because Xander should have been there and it should have happened because now, and Heim Bloom's in a tough spot. You sign Correa or you sign Swanson, what are you doing with your logjam of infielders? That is a big question. Could you trade them and allow for other pieces? Sure, but if that's the case, why haven't you done that before? And he's in a tough spot. That's why I honestly believe if they're not going to sign a shortstop, I think they're going to leave it as is, and it's going to be platoon for about a year, or they do something like move Kike over to short and they platoon somebody in the outfield. That's
Maybe
what I
even
think.
Duran in
Right.
center, which isn't great, but it's like what I'm saying. 2023 could be a bridge year to a big 2024. Hope and pray. But like there's a chance that the 2023 team has a couple holes that hopefully by the time 2024 comes, you have filled.
Right. And so in your point to that, right, whatever happens in the offseason, if their end game is by 2024, windows, back to being open and that, then here's what I would like to see. Maybe we stumble out of the gates because of what we have, and you got the young kids coming up. But by the second half, they go on some kind of run. There is
promise.
Legitimate playoff push to where we can sit here and go, okay, yep, these young guys are producing 2024. Here we go. Maybe there's, another signing out there that can really help us push us over the edge. Perfect. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm skeptical of
Yeah,
it.
it's hard though. It is hard to kind of feel like, okay, we're gonna go. I will say though, in 2020, I was saying like, all right, 2024, 2025 is gonna be the next big window to open for the Red Sox. And the reason I said it's gonna start in 2024 or 2025. If that is true, if I'm gonna stick by that and believe that's true, that window is gonna be the Meyer, Blaze, all those guys window with hopefully a guy like Devers still there. Cassis, Bayo, Whitlock, that's going to be the window. That
Hopefully.
would be that it's lethal if everything pans out. Yes, there is some risk, but there could be massive upside there as well. That's the risk you're willing to take, I guess, if that's the route you go.
All right, I will see you guys.
Yep.
So night, and to anybody who's watching this, follow us on Twitter, fight with us, comment, like us, whatever, and we'll be around. So hopefully we're going to be recording next week with Mr. Brown in Boston. I'd love to do it. So you guys have a good night.
Yep.
All right. So my finals.
Yep.
Evidently, I don't get to talk to anybody but you. So
no, hey,
that's fine.
It's fine.
I'd
Get
like
to
I'd like
Yoshida and
Kenley.
Jansen.
I'll start with Kenley Jansen. I like the signing in the market that was 2022, 2023. We got him for a discount in my mind. I like the fact, and I feel like I'm starting to see a plan with Heim Bloom as much as I'm critical on him.
Yeah.
Pitching. It's pitching. The bullpen, he's looked at that. They got some really good arms in the bullpen now. I'm surprised Jeremy didn't bring it up. Brazier's still with the team.
Yeah.
He's
starting to get pushed off the roster though, which is good.
He's starting to get pushed off the roster. And I do like the signing. I want to keep on saying Fukujima, but I know that's
Yoshida.
not his name. Yoshida.
Masataka Yoshida.
But we've already kind of drilled it down. He's setting the table. He's a great contact hitter. Doesn't strike out much. But the way the league is going, let's not forget.
He's like a Luis Ariz, hopefully.
Well, where I was going with this is the shift is going. I guarantee they shifted over in Japan too. I mean, they're big on fundamentals over there.
Yeah, maybe not as much, but yeah.
Maybe not as much, but the shift is gone. His speed will come into play with that. But we need a couple, at least one or two more bats. You know, I was high on Kiermaier. He went to Toronto, I think
yep.
today or yesterday.
Today,
I,
yeah.
My bucket list that I still have out there is Trey Mancini. I'd like to see him on the Red Sox.
I love
think
him,
he
but I don't know if he
still-
fits. That's the only
But I
my
think
only
he
worry.
still has
But
a
yeah.
year or two of that veterans.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah, 100%.
the
That
kids on
veteran
his team
presence.
would look up to a guy like that, a cancer
Yeah.
survivor,
Oh yeah,
a
100%.
World Series winner.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like a Trey Mancini. I think he's outfielder, left fielder.
Nah, he's really kind of DH first baseman now. He hasn't
Well,
played
that's
out. He hasn't
fine.
really played outfield in a while.
Well, DH is fine.
Oh yeah, no, it is. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah,
It's fine. But yeah, I do wonder. I was intrigued with Josh Bell because the Red Sox haven't had a switch hitter in forever. But I don't know if it really would have fit. I don't know. They're in this weird spot where it's like at this point, it's like they can straddle the two paths of window opening in 2024-25, which is what I said, and also trying to show something in 2023. You can kind of straddle the two paths because the prospects and all that are their 20, but they can also bring in a couple guys on shorter term deals that can maybe help the team in 2023. And if it goes right, maybe you have a 2013 situation or a 2021 situation where you're better than you expected. Maybe you have that. Maybe you don't, but then you can trade those guys at the trade deadline. But yeah, I think the plan is pitching. You have all these guys in big leagues. You also still have a bunch of guys in AAA. Matta,
I'll be shocked if they
Walter,
don't sound
Murphy,
silent. Is it Sega, I believe?
Senga. Yeah,
Senga.
rumor is that they're willing to go to 7 years with them.
Yeah, and I'll be just because they did sign the other Japanese player. I think they're both 29 years old too, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it'd be a great fit because having them both together, I don't think they played on both the same team, right?
I don't think so. But remember, fastball splitter combo. What did the Red Sox get killed by this year? Kevin Gausman, fastball splitter. What have so many guys in the league done in the last couple of years? Even a guy like Nathan Eovaldi, he's other pitches, but what's some big thing they have? Fastball splitter. Oh, so many guys throughout the league. Fastball splitter, fastball splitter, fastball splitter. It works. And if he gets a third pitch that's even half decent, boom. And the good thing about Senga, I will say this. The good thing about him is he has bullpen jeopardy. Would you want him in the bullpen? No, but if he struggles as a starter, fastball split will work in the bullpen at the absolute worst case scenario.
And on this team, he's no better than number 3. As
Probably
it
number
stands
2
right now. Stands right
probably
now.
a number 2 right now.
If you have Sale and you have Bayo,
you can't count Bayo as the 2 yet, though. Like he has the potential to be the 1, but going into the season, you probably got to leave him at the 3, maybe 4.
So there's your 1, 2, 3 going into next year.
Yeah.
If you
and then maybe even Whitlock and Houck, maybe if they want to start both of them. I know they're going to start Whitlock. Houck, they still don't. They're having him build up like a starter and then deciding in spring training depending.
I
don't
believe in 6-man rotations, but I could see the Red Sox having one.
Yeah, Pivetta or Paxton as a 6-man and the other one in the bullpen. Yeah. The Astros did it last year and it worked for them. So it's not out of the question, but it is interesting. They have a lot of different ways they can go. We're just hoping that we kind of see the plan starting to come together, hopefully. I think that's the fair kind of assessment.
Sounds good. Well, we need to break, even if something happens this week, we need to break in with some breaking news, hopefully, whether it's Senka or, I hate to say it, Correa. I don't think it's going to be Correa.
I don't think it will either, but, like, you're telling me if Correa is, like I said, 12 years, 320, you're telling me just one more year than Bogaerts and only $40 million more? That feels
at
to
this
me,
point, I could see him go to San Diego for a year.
Oh no, I feel like San Fran's trying to push for him.
Yeah.
Because they missed out. San Fran might be burning a hole in their pocket like the Padres.
Yeah.
But I feel like San Fran just messes it up every time.
Yeah, that's why I feel like San Fran, like you say, could sign him to a big contract because they feel like the Red Sox last year. We signed Story to a big contract because we didn't get anybody until late in the free agency.
Yeah, but I think it was from what I've heard Story, like from what a bunch of different people said, Story's kind of the number one priority because they wanted him to play second base. That's what I know some people have said. So I don't know, but
and I don't hate on Story. He's just his bat wasn't there. He hurt his wrist,
his arms, his elbows like done. And if the stats show, it won't get into that now. But I do want to say,
what did he break last year? Was his wrist or hand,
fist or something? He got hit by a pitch in the hand or wrist or whatever.
So I mean, that's not gonna. He's not gonna have the power, but he's still gonna be able to hit the ball.
Well, he brings the speed dynamic too. Good defense. Like
I mean,
he got a second base contract. He got a second baseman contract.
He's got a Gold Glove if he could do a complete year.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
The only competition is Andres Jimenez for Cleveland, who literally should be playing shortstop.
Yeah.
So that just tells you like that's how good Story is. But no, I will say Story. I think he got a second base contract. He got less than Semien. That's a second base contract. That's not a shortstop contract.
I worry about Devers going into 2023.
Me too.
His buddy is gone. I don't know if his mind's going to be there unless
they're gonna need Verdugo to step up and be a vibes guy, because if Devers can't be a vibes guy this year and is a little bit down, they need Verdugo to step up and be that guy.
Yeah.
That's what they need. And I will say, like, Correa does bring a little bit of an attitude towards the game. Maybe that helps Devers bring some I don't know. I feel like the team, they need an identity. And I know maybe Correa comes in as kind of like the kind of villain guy, and they kind of the Red Sox.
Devers is not the villain guy.
Well, no, I'm not saying Devers
is like, I don't care who you root for in baseball. You cannot not love Devers.
Oh no, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Jubilant kid.
But you have like this contrast, this cast of characters, or if let's say you bring in Correa is kind of that villain guy. Devers is the guy who everyone loves, and you have this Verdugo who's just an energy guy and brings the vibes, brings good vibes. You have Kike, kind of does the same thing. You just have a variety of guys, different personalities. But if you can get some of the mix, you could have a very good locker room environment. But
do you think there's a big trade out? Well, maybe not big.
Not big, but like,
you think there's a trade out there to be had?
Ramon Laureano, maybe. And I'm not talking about Sean Murphy. Maybe you get like a Ramon Laureano just for defense. I don't see the
need for Sean Murphy. I'm okay with our catching.
Well, Sean Murphy's also going to cost an arm. I think Murphy goes for more than what Brian Reynolds would go for, and that's why I say no. I think I don't know what.
Even though Murphy's hitting like the same as Story.
No, but he's like Murphy. His OPS plus, I'm pretty sure, is higher. Murphy's a big doubles guy. I think he had 55 extra base hits last year. And that's Murphy. In Oakland. Murphy is a very, very big. If you're looking at Murphy, all the advanced numbers guy are massive on Sean Murphy. His advanced numbers are amazing. His like average whatever isn't great. His advanced numbers are out of this world for a catcher. So
don't forget we have Hosmer next year too.
Yeah, well, lefty. You're running into a lefty problem. Verdugo, Devers, Cassis, Yoshida, Reese McGuire, maybe. Then that's 6 lefties.
Yeah, that's why I feel like they might bring back JD for one more year.
Yeah,
at like 10 or 15 a year.
I don't even know if that much. I don't even know if he gets that much. I'm not gonna lie, but they got to figure. They need right-handed bats. You have Kike, you have Story. You need.
I mean, how old is JD?
I think it's only like 34. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's crazy. Like,
but he had such a fall off last year.
Oh my
swing.
God. It was
he had
like
such a hole in his bat.
He just fell off a cliff. It's those things, you never know when it's going to happen, but you know it's going to happen. Yeah. And that's my worry with JD. He's falling off a cliff. He's going to keep on falling. That's my worry with him.
Yeah.
But like, not a bad clubhouse guy. But yeah, they got to figure it out. They still have moves to make. I think they bring in at least one more starter, whether it's a guy like Senga. I don't see them going for Rodon, but Senga, bring back Evaldi. I'm not crazy over. I actually don't like bringing Walker back just because the injury questions, and you already have Sale and Paxton. And even Whitlock to an extent, that worries me.
Whitlock?
So, yeah. Starter. He's going to start next year.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. His movement on the ball is great for one run through the lineup.
I think if you can get 4 to 5 innings out of him every start, that's all you ask for. You don't ask for him to go 6, 7, 8. 4 or 5.
But if that's the case, he's your number 6 in the rotation.
No. I think if Whitlock's your here's the thing. I think the Red Sox want to build a deep enough bullpen where the starter only needs to go 4 innings, maybe 5. I think that's a legitimate goal. Like the Rays. If a Rays, like they bring in Jeffrey Springs, he's not going 7, 8 innings. He's going to go 4, maybe 5 innings, and then they just hand it to that outrageous bullpen of guy. All these guys are just guys that are coming in 3 outs. I think that's what the Red Sox want to do. And this goes back to the Kansas City team in 2015. Dominant bullpens will win. They just do. You give a dominant bullpen a lead, they're not going to give it up. I think that's what the Red Sox want to do. Because if you get a lead and you go into a bullpen and like right now, Matt Barnes, I think is the 6th inning guy. Last year, he was supposed to be the closer.
Yeah.
That's a massive improvement already. Maybe the 7th, depending on if Houck. I still feel like Houck will be in the bullpen. But like
he's got the mentality for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying though. It's like the bullpen already looks a lot better, and I think they'll still add at least one more bullpen piece, at least one more starter. And maybe a
They
guy
have
like
to add another
Paxton.
infielder and outfielder.
No, not necessarily outfielder. They could do like a DH and have Verdugo in right and Yoshida in left. Which isn't the greatest defensively, but Kike is in center, so maybe that helps you out.
Have the
But yeah,
Yankees signed Benintendi? I don't think
no,
they have.
no, but he's a lefty. That's the problem. You need righties. You. If Reese McGuire starts a catcher, you already have 5 lefties. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. You literally cannot bring in another lefty, a switch hitter or right-handed. And how many switch hitters are there now? That's the problem.
Next to none.
Exactly. I think that's the big problem. The Red Sox haven't had a full-time switch hitter since Pablo Sandoval in 2015. that literally tells you. Josh Bell was like the only like legit switch hitter there. It's all righties. You can only do righties. I've said like maybe like an Adam Duvall maybe because he'll bring good defense in right field, but like guy hits like 210, doesn't walk, strikes out a lot, but he might hit you 35 home runs. But you're getting him for the glove on a cheap 1-year deal. It's like Jackie Bradley Jr. if he hit right-handed and had the chance to hit 35 home runs. That's essentially what Adam Duvall is.
Yeah.
That's literally Adam Duvall. Great defense, can't hit for average, doesn't walk, strikes out a ton, but he might hit you 30, 35 home runs if you get lucky. That's literally a route I said. That's a route I said. They might end up just going for like a guy like Adam Duvall, keep Doogie in left and DH Yoshida. But I don't know. We'll see it. Yeah. So let's end with this. The Red Sox. If you're making one move for the Red Sox, let's say you're looking at this Red Sox team and there's one move that you want them to make, and not like an obvious move like Correa or shorts or whatever. If there's one move that you're looking at, like this guy could maybe be someone that people aren't looking at, who would you go with?
Free agent or
free agent? Yeah, preferably free agent.
Wow. I mean, what's left out there?
I have one guy in mind, Andrew Chafin.
I'm not familiar with him.
Lefty reliever has been pretty much dominant the last 2 years in a setup role. But I think he's the best reliever on the market. I think he's been the best reliever on the market. Yeah,
you might think we still need more relievers?
Yeah. You want a left. I want a lefty at the back end of the pen. Right now, your lefties are Joely Rodriguez and Josh Taylor, who could be really good, but he also could be injured the whole year. So, and you get Chafin, and I said this in one of the columns I wrote. I said if you get Chafin, it allows you flexibility with Houck. Well, I said it with Whitlock, but Whitlock's not starting. It gives you flexibility with Houck if you want to use Houck as a starter or as a reliever. It leaves the option for both. So you don't necessarily have to get another starter if you get a guy like Chafin who can fit into the back end. But or you keep Houck in the back end, in the back end of your bullpen, you have Kenley, Houck, Schreiber, Martin, Chafin. Barnes is like the 5th inning guy, maybe the 4th inning guy. And in that sense, Brazier's nowhere near the roster. That's why I say a guy like Chafin, because he can pitch in the back end of the bullpen. And Red Sox stats on Twitter has been saying that, just sliding the shit off the roster. Get the guys who suck off the team. You got to bring in guys that are better than them to get them off the team.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody, to be honest with you, that would. Yeah, that I'm like, okay, let's bring him in.
That's the hard. Like for me, it's like Senga, but like he's a big name already, so it's like me, it's kind of like maybe Duvall if you're just looking for defense and hopefully power. But then again, it's like at that point you just take Zunino at catcher because defense is way more valuable at catcher, and trade Reese McGuire. I don't know. That's what it is. Oh, I do want to bring back Michael Chavis for the chaos of it.
Yeah.
Play Dahlbeck at shortstop and DH Chavis. Boom, done, easy. There's your team next year.
Just not much chaos. Of a team, but it's a team.
It's funny. I did I'm doing Red Sox franchise and MLB The Show, and I just brought in Chavis as a free agent for no reason. I mean, he was on the bench, but I had him and Dahlbeck on the bench. They barely played, but hey.
Yeah.
Vibes, I guess. I guess. But yeah, I think that's a good spot to end it though. On yeah, free agent market's dwindling down. There's only so many guys you can sign. The Red Sox got some moves they still got to make. There is still a big fish out there, or two, or three. But they got to do something, and they got to pick a path.
I'm trying to look at the list. Adam Frazier popped out to me today.
Lefty again. That's the same problem. Same problem. Like
Yeah.
I like Adam Frazier, but
what about Chris Owings?
I'd rather just not do anything at that point.
Yeah.
I wanted Aledmys Diaz, but he went to Oakland because he's the kind of, you can put him anywhere pretty much, like Kike almost. He could play shortstop if you need to. He can play third, second, left, right.
Well, Didi, I think, is done. I think
he's done. Elvis Andrews might not be a bad guy. He had a very good year last year.
His WAR is 5.1.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, but most of that was from his time with the White Sox.
Yeah,
this year because he was awful for Oakland.
What happened to Adronto Simmons?
Guy just never hit. He literally never hit, and then his defense started to fall a little bit. Jose Iglesias' defense has fallen off a cliff. I don't know how. I think Bogaerts was better defensively than Iglesias last year.
I love Dansby Swanson's WAR. I mean, mind you, it's with Atlanta. It's almost 10.
It's most of it's though from 1 year. But my worry with him is like, it's like if you're gonna pay Swanson, do you just add more money and pay Correa at that point? That's just kind of how I feel about Swanson. Also, too, I feel like Swanson is like it's like cool, but like you could do better, or you could just save the money and use it for like, I don't know, Rafael Devers.
Yeah, did you say Brandon Drury too?
I haven't said him, but he's interesting. He's interesting. That's the one thing. He's interesting, but he didn't do great with the Padres, and that's what worries me because I know Padres pitcher-friendly ballpark, but Cincinnati is the most hitter-friendly ballpark ever. Yeah. At least home run-wise. That's what worries me.
It's hard to believe Benintendi's only 28 years old.
I know.
I mean, it says to be.
Oh, Houston's sniffing around him.
Yeah, I could see that. You know, like,
they want a left fielder because they want to DH Jordan. Yeah, and the free agent market is not. It's not great. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
it really isn't. It's
not good at all.
Like everyone was saying, like this year's class sucks. I'm like, no, it doesn't suck. It's just top heavy.
God, Will Myers. I feel like he should be about 38 by now. He's only 32.
Yeah, maybe he might not be a terrible option. Miguel Sano is actually a very interesting one. Hasn't played much. Didn't really play last year. He's interesting because you could get like a 30 homers out of him from a DH spot. He's one.
I always like Michael Conforto too. Is he a lefty or righty?
Lefty.
Lefty, yeah.
Lefty hitter. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. Anyone who's like, oh, it makes it lefty hitter. God, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Miguel Sano intrigues me just because you could DH him, and I know he didn't really play much last year, but like his defensive value is negative. So DHing him, I think, actually adds value to him.
You said it, I think, the last time we were talking about Jed Lowry. I mean, he's up there, and he could fill in the outfield here and there and DH. Yeah. But, I mean, his WAR is awful.
Yeah,
he's also pushing 40 years old. It's hard. That's a guy I have a hard time believing he's that old. I think McCutchen, this is probably his last year if he gets signed. Trey Mancini is only 31 years old.
I think McCutchen could DH for a couple more years, though. I think he might get that kind of.
Yeah, he still has pop in his bat. But he's a righty, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a righty. McCutchen wouldn't be a bad fit. No. Could occasionally play him in left.
I mean, I guarantee he would eat up that monster, too.
Probably. He doubles off the monster all day.
Yeah, I mean, he hits a lot of pop flies.
Yeah,
so those are the two guys that are on my radar then. I had already said Trey Mancini. Mm-hmm. I like Andrew McCutchen, too.
Yeah, McCutchen. I like Miguel Sano just for the upside of it. That one's more of a high risk, high upside, but I feel like that's kind of what the Red Sox got to do. And then Justin Turner's interesting. I feel like he could just be JD Martinez, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Mean, he just kind of got lost in that big, overwhelming lineup for all those years.
I mean, they're just bringing all the Dodger scraps in. Kike.
I mean, if you're looking for speed, bring in Billy Hamilton if that's the case. And Billy Hamilton, Delino DeShields.
Just at that point, you just roll with Jaron Duran. I know he's a lefty, but at that point, does it really matter? You just use Duran. Maybe have him hit right-handed. I
hope
know.
he's been working on himself this year, because what we saw with him in outfield last year,
I feel like it's more mental problem than anything.
yeah,
That's
it made absolutely no sense.
I feel like it's just a mental problem. And playing in Boston is tough. Like, if you don't like Trevor Story, like you have like 2 bad weeks to start the season and they are on you. Like, you stink. Like, you shouldn't. You like, why'd we pay you? Like, obviously, way worse things.
But then if you have 2 games in a row that are great, they're all over you. So you're doing great.
Yeah, Trevor Story, that 2-week period, every Boston was all over him. But that's the risk that come with playing in Boston.
Yeah. By
all
far.
right. Yep.
All right.
I think that's a great place to wrap it up. Thanks for
Yep.
tuning in off the monster. Check out our links in our link in the description for Twitter. Yeah, check us out. Keep listening. Keep watching on YouTube.
And if Pine Bloom you're watching, keep the faith, man.
Yep.
Keep the faith.
Hey, we know you have a plan of some sort. We just don't know it because you're tight-lipped. If you got your plan, stick to it. I'll try and be behind you as long as possible. I'm optimistic, so I'll be behind you literally the whole time because I want the Red Sox to win and I'm optimistic. But yeah, all right. Thanks for tuning in off the monster. For Mr. Brown, for Jeremy, and Mr. Taylor, who are long gone at this point. Thanks for tuning in to our Red Sox therapy session, and we'll see you next time.